In the opening scene, Janie caresses a tool for self-gratification in her bedroom when her family arrives to wish her a happy birthday and is shocked to see her in this condition. In the stereotypical high school community of John Hughes High in Southern California, the teacher is explaining to the student that this school is different from others. Hey there, welcome to Popcorn and Summaries. Today, we're diving into the 2001 comedy/drama movie known as Not Another Teen. But before we jump into the details, subscribing to the channel if you're into the commentary. Let's get right into it. There are no social groups, which means the students are chosen based on their doings instead of their friends' doings. He divides students into small groups so they can easily go through the school details. He divides them into 3 groups, one is a girls group, another is a boys group, and the third group has 4 toppers whom he calls losers. Janie is going to school with her younger brother, Mitch, and father in their Jeep, which is in very bad condition. Mitch wants her to date someone in the school because if she is not dating anyone, he cannot get permission to date anyone. Janie is the typical girl who doesn't want to date. On arriving, the door falls to the ground when Janie opens it, but her father apologizes for not repairing it. Jake Whaler is the rich guy who arrives in a red car. He is popular with girls for his looks. Ricky is the friend of Janie, who meets her and explains his activities during the weekend. He confesses his love to Janie and gives her a mixtape gift for her birthday. She throws the tape in the locker, where a bunch of tapes are already placed. Mitch meets his friends, Ox and Bruce, and finds them boring after listening to their boring activities on the weekend. He is looking for a girl to date. They make a pact to lose their virginity by graduation, despite still being in their freshman year. Catherine is Jake's sister, and she is sexually attracted to Jake. She graduated from high school 4 years ago, but she is still visiting school for Jake. She tries to seduce him, but he is not interested in her. Jake likes attractive Priscilla, who arrives and asks him for some time. Priscilla informs Jake that she is dating another guy, Lay, just to spite him. Jake finds him weird and timid. Janie was in the art class making paintings when Principal Cornish called her into his office, where he introduced her to the foreign student, Areola, who was sitting nude and told them that she came here for lust and not for study. Principal asks Janie to show her first class. Meanwhile, Jake is upset with Priscilla for dumping him. Austin tells him that Priscilla is prom material, but Jake reveals she is not true beauty but covered in makeup, and she can be replaceable. Jake tells him he can make any girl a prom queen this year. Austin asks him if he will find a girl whom he will make a prom queen. They start looking for the girl. They see different girls on the school grounds, but Austin is looking for a girl who is messed up. Austin finds Janie Briggs best for the bet. Jake does not like her as she wears glasses and a ponytail, but Austin and other friends convince him. Mitch loves the beautiful yet perverted Amanda Becker. He follows her into the restroom along with his friends after hearing her seductive voice. She goes into the washroom when they follow her through the wooden roof, which is almost broken. Suddenly, the roof breaks, and 3 people fall to the ground in front of Amanda. In the poetry class, Ricky reads the poem to impress Janie. The poem is all about Janie. He gets emotional while reading it, and the professor becomes awkward. In the cafe, Jake tries to talk to Janie. He asks her to become the popular girl in the school, but she finds it strange as he has never talked to her in 4 years, and suddenly he wants to make her popular. Priscilla is discussing their football match with her team when a new girl, Sandy Sue, arrives, but Priscilla finds her strange. Jack was on the ground watching his team play football when he had football memories from his past, remembering Marty. Mitch meets his friends in the classroom who are feeling low due to the punishment from their parents for breaking the roof, but Mitch encourages them. At home, Jack argues with his father, who wants to send him to Princeton for 4 years, but Jack does not want to go. His father tells him that he heard about his breakup and found a new girl for him, which makes him excited. His father calls Maverly, Jack's mom, to the room, which upsets him after finding that there is no girl. At night, Janie was quiet at the dinner table. Later, she was watching a movie when her father confronted her about her sadness. She tells him about Jake at school, as she is confused about him. She asks him for advice, and he tells her to date him to get popularity, or she might fall in love with him. Jake asks Catherine for advice on how to trick Janie into liking him. She offers her help, asking him to sit. She wants him to spend some time with her, which he doesn't want, but she tries to convince her. She convinces him and tells him that he has to do 3 things. First, earn her trust, and then try to make her special. The next day at school, Mitch was fighting with a boy when Jake tried to stop them and got punched by Mitch. He then punches Mitch in the face when Janie arrives. Catherine asks Jake to play a song for Janie to impress her. Janie was painting on the ground when she heard the loud song sound. Jake is singing a song for Janie, and when he sings the lyrics "Janie had a gun," it makes everyone afraid of her, and they start running. School security captures her, and Jake realizes that he messed up everything. Catherine tells him the third thing is to invite her home. Janie arrives at his home to tell him to leave her, but he insists her to eat snacks with him. She was watching pictures on the wall while waiting when Jake arrived naked. Janie finds it weird and leaves the house. Preston's parents were going out of the city when they lectured him not to do anything wrong in their absence. The next day, Jake arrives at Janie's home to invite her to Preston's party. She tells him that she is a complete mess and cannot come to the party. Catherine arrives to change her appearance with her makeup. She removes her glasses and opens her hair. She presents her in front of Jake, his father, and Mitch, who are surprised after seeing her beautiful look. Suddenly, Janie breaks the stairs and falls to the floor. Meanwhile, Mitch and his friends plan a road trip in his mom's car. First, they go to their first high school party. Mitch wants to meet Amanda at a party and impress her with a love letter. She tells Bruce and Ox that he has loved her since he first saw her. Bruce says that he does not have a chance with her, mockingly stating, "Keep dreaming." Jake, Janie, and Catherine arrive at Preston's party at his home. Everything slows down when Amanda enters the party. Meanwhile, Catherine meets an old lady from their class, who tells Catherine that no boy gets close to her. Catherine teaches her some seductive tricks and tips. Meanwhile, Jake is looking for Janie, and suddenly he finds her drunk and standing in the shade. She jumps into the pool. Jake asks her how she gets drunk as he gives her a non-alcoholic drink and finds out that Janie is acting. Priscilla confronts Janie, calling her a loser. Everyone is looking at them, and Janie leaves while crying. At home, Janie was painting in her basement when Jake arrived. He asks her about the painting. She tells him that the lady in the painting is her mother, who died when she was 6 years old, and his father was fired from his job. He took care of the whole house when she found out about her mother's cancer, but she couldn't save her. She then tells him about her dream of moving to Paris for art school, but she cannot afford it and is waiting for a scholarship. Jake happily tells her that his parents give scholarships to the girls who cannot afford art schools. The next day, prom's nominations are announced. Priscilla confronts Janie for taking part in the prom queen competition, but Janie ignores her. At lunch in the cafeteria, Austin asks Jake about Janie. He thinks that Jake started loving Janie, but he states that Janie is only a bet and he cannot fall for her. Jake leaves the table when his friend tells Austin that Janie has changed her appearance and is looking beautiful. Later, Jake asks Janie to go to a prom with him and she accepts it, which upsets Ricky. As the prom draws near, Jake draws infamy among his peers after he failed to lead his football team to victory at the state championship game the year before. This is because he starts remembering his teammate Marty, who died while playing football for them. Now his other friend gets injured, distracting his focus from the game. Janie goes to see Jake and tries to comfort him by telling him that it's not his fault. He is upset about letting everyone down. She expresses her love for him. The situation is further worsened when an angry Austin interferes with Jake and Janie talking. He's angry at Jake for blowing their game. He tricks Jake into telling Janie about his bet to spite Priscilla by pretending to whisper the secret bet in Janie's ear. Jake apologizes to her, but this causes her to immediately leave Jake in anger. The two spend time alone and realize that they love each other and miss each other. During prom night, Austin and Janie go together to a party. A jealous Jake and Catherine have a dance-off with Austin and Janie. Catherine sexually dances with Jake. Janie does not like it and runs off, crying. She secretly looks at him while drinking but ignores him when he looks back. Meanwhile, Mitch and his friends are having a lousy time at the prom until Amanda arrives. Mitch calls her a flower that he can smell. Mitch gives her the letter, to which she responds that she does not make love with every loser who does these things, but will give them some of her time. She then leaves with him, surprising Bruce and Ox. Bruce hooks up with the international student Areola, and Ox later hooks up with Catherine after sharing a romantic and rather odd connection. Jake is awarded prom king, and the principal reads out that the votes for prom queen are tied. Everyone thinks that it is between Janie and Priscilla, but they are shocked to find that Cara and Sarah Fratelli, conjoined twins, won the prom queen title. During the traditional prom king and queen dance, Janie supposedly left with Austin to go to a hotel. Jake runs after Janie when he meets Ricky on the way, who tries to stop Jake from following her as he wants to meet her, but he runs when Jake does not stop and runs to meet Janie. Jake goes to the hotel room, where he finds Austin with a girl on the bed, but is shocked to find that it is Priscilla and not Janie, while Lay videotapes them with his pants down. Jake is surprised to find the truth. Austin tells Jake that Janie ran home to her dad. Jake coldly punches Austin and Priscilla, knocking them unconscious for their part in Janie's humiliation. He then punches Lay for being weird. He also punches a plastic bag that happens to be floating next to Lay. He then runs to Janie's house, where he meets Janie's father, who tells him that she is going to Paris for art school. Jake arrives at the airport and confronts her before she can board the plane, but he uses a plethora of lines from other films to impress her. In his final speech, he suggests they would be better off separated, but Janie mistakenly believes he is quoting from the movie, and she decides to stay with him. If you enjoyed this gripping recap, show your support by hitting the like button and don't forget to subscribe to be the first to catch our upcoming videos.